Today I'm speaking with Thomas Lamb, a graduate of St Albans 2018. Thomas is studying a Bachelor of Applied Science in Medical Imaging.
Yep.
So thanks for joining us today, Thomas.
Thank you.
We're here to talk about LinkedIn and for you to step me through your very impressive LinkedIn profile. So our aim here today is basically to inform the students of St Albans about the importance and the uses of LinkedIn, and to teach them the basics and profile tips for optimizing their profile, as well as to encourage them to start thinking about life beyond high school. So let's start with the basics. What is LinkedIn?
Yeah, good question. So LinkedIn, it's pretty much just like a big social network. Think of it like Facebook, but this is for your career. So with what you do is you create a profile and that shows everything about you. And from then you add people and you network with them, called connections. And it's like an online resume. With this resume, it establishes your professional profile and it enables with recruiting and networking. This is so important because with jobs now, it's important to create a presence online. A lot of employers are actually recruiting online and they use LinkedIn.
Yeah, what are the benefits of LinkedIn?
Yeah, so just like I said before, you stand out with people, and about 94% of recruiters use LinkedIn. So not many people actually use the traditional method as much, and this is because it's simply easier to just look for people online. And LinkedIn, it's all about connections. And that's the same with real life too. Most of the time, people tend to recruit someone they know through word of mouth. And that's with LinkedIn too. You create connections with people online. Yeah, so another benefit with LinkedIn is that you can easily make connections even if you're an introvert. If you think about it, there's so many people now that graduate compared to 10 years ago, and you have to do things differently to stand out. Even if you're an introvert and you're shy with networking events, you can still make meaningful connections online through LinkedIn. You build relationships with mutual contacts, so people you know, or even people you look up to, even people that are working full-time, people in your field, or even your role models. And why that's beneficial is because you can also ask them questions too. If you ever have any problems later on about getting employed or any questions, let's say in my course, I'm a radiographer and I have questions about certain things, I can reach out to them and ask, hey, how do you do this and that? How do you do it in a clinical setting? Another thing is that a lot of employees, first thing they do is actually Google your name online. And it's actually a pretty daunting thing. And you want to make sure that when they Google your name online, you have a good presence.
Yeah, fantastic. So how did you learn about LinkedIn and why did you create a profile?
Yeah, good question. I actually didn't make one until last year. So I was actually in a lecture with my friend and I noticed she was on her LinkedIn profile. I was like, what's this? I've heard of LinkedIn before, but I've never really seen what it was like. And I saw she was actually editing a profile and she was editing her work experience because she tutored as well. And I saw she was adding it in. And I think she was actually talking to some employer. I think it was some tutoring company. And I was like, wow, like, how did I reach out to you? And she was like, well, just from my LinkedIn. I just realized, wow, that's such an amazing opportunity. Like, she didn't have to go out physically handing in a resume to find people. Instead, they reached out to her online.
So can you walk me through your profile here? So let's start with your photo and background. Why did you choose these, and why are they important?
Yeah, good question. This is actually my profile for my university picture, and I chose this profile because I think it looks professional, it's formal, and it's something that's eye-grabbing too. And with LinkedIn, it's all about first impressions. Same with any profile you make online. First impressions matter a lot, and you want to make sure that first impression is eye-grabbing.
So your about section, how important is this section?
I think it's just as important as the profile picture that people see. It's just like when you go into interview and the first thing you do, you give them a handshake, how you interact with people. Your profile picture and your about section is just as important. And my about section, I prefer to make it small and short. I know a lot of people prefer to make it longer. But with this, what you do is you need to make it stand out, because that's the first thing people are going to read. They're going to say, okay, who's this guy? Or who's this girl? And if it stands out, that's a good thing. And you need to show off your personality, what you're like. And that's how you impress people. And I think the way I did was I tried to make something, add a bit of humor in my first line.
Yeah, it's great. And look, it caught my eye.
Yep.
I mean, the whole profile caught my eye, with the background and then the profile photo, everything. But the about section, that's where I got a sense of your personality.
That's why about section is so important. And I started add a quote, and that's optional, but no, I mentioned that I'm a medical imaging student and I'm passionate to work in the health industry. And yeah, want to improve people's lives and well-being, and that just sums it up.
Yeah.
I believe it should just be short and concise, because it is a summary at the end of the day. You don't want to give them an essay, because no one's going to read the whole essay. You want something short and sweet.
Yeah, that's right. So that's a great tip for the students out there who are thinking about writing a summary. Yeah, right. Okay, so let's move on. We've got experience here. There's actually quite a bit, considering you only graduated a couple of years ago. You've got quite a bit and more experiences. So what are the types of things that you can list here?
Yeah. So with experience, that's anything. That's pretty much any experience you do, any experience in the workforce. I know a lot of students, you're in year 12 and you might not have a job yet, and that's okay. I didn't actually have a job until I finished high school. And once you actually finished, when you start looking for jobs, you add experiences on. Even work experience. I know a lot of, actually everyone should have done work experience in year 10, and that itself is actually very valuable. You should put it on too. If you see rubbish removal, that was actually helping out a family friend, and that was just on a casual basis. That was once every 3-4 months, and that's just a family friend's business, and you help out with them. Even if helping out your parents in a restaurant, helping in a shop, that's any sort of experience them, when even if you get paid or not, that still counts.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Great advice. Okay, so let's move on to education. Why list your high school education? What's the importance of listing St Albans Secondary College there?
Good question. I feel like it's important because it tells a lot about you, and people know, okay, you did VC as well, and that's, or even if you did VCAL VC, it doesn't matter. At least they know what experience you have.
And then including your university study as well. From a networking angle, you can search people through the school, which is essentially how I found you the first time. I was searching St Albans Secondary College because I was looking for alumni of the school, and because you have that listed, you come up. Okay, licenses and certifications. So, we have a show more here. What can you list here?
Yeah, so any sort of certificate you've done, I'm assuming by now some students will have done some form of first aid, or when they finish, they might have to do first aid for their university course, because it's actually a prerequisite. Some CPR first aid, even some certificate you've done. So the IVET, I actually did that in year 11, year 12. That was part of my vet subject, and I received a certificate for that.
Yeah. Your volunteer experience. So again, maybe not everyone will have this, but you know, what are the kind of things that you can put here?
Special events, any sort of community work, or even just helping out with the community, any volunteering work, helping out in a council, helping out your family, any work that's not paid and you giving up your time, that's counted as volunteering. And I want to add, I don't think students should be intimidated, because it's okay if you don't have any experiences yet. But once you start university, opportunities will come, and that's when you add on to it. So don't be scared if you don't have anything to add right now. I think that's a good tip.
Yeah.
Just start with where you have and just trust the process.
Skills and endorsements. How do you get these, and what are they?
Yeah. So what you do with this is you actually you pick a few important skills, and from there you get friends to endorse you. Think of it as references. Yeah, it's like references.
Yeah. Yep. Fantastic. And here we have your accomplishments. We're almost at the end of the profile. So accomplishments. What's the importance of this section?
Very important. I feel like everything's important on your profile. I don't think anything should be left out, because it's not complete if you don't have anything added in. You can add anything you want, any award. It can be as simple as, you know, your year 12 award, finish VC, and you have your award there. Just don't be too intimidated of that. As I want you guys to realize that as you progress through university, you will have achievements and stuff that you do. And achievements can be anything for anyone. It doesn't necessarily have to be physical certificates or awards. And
you've listed languages here.
Yep.
And the level of proficiency as well. So yep. I think that would apply to quite a few students from St Albans. So that's great. And interests. Now, how does this section benefit yourself and others?
Yeah, so I've just liked certain pages or people I follow. It shows people what you like.
Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing the screen now, Thomas, and let's go back to seeing you. So, can you tell me, do you have any advice for the students out there who are wanting to create a profile and begin their LinkedIn journey?
Yes, that's a good question. My advice to any students is just start now. Don't be intimidated by my profile. I understand that I have my sections I've filled out, and I want you to realize that's how mine was actually empty for a good 6-7 months. I actually didn't fix it until a few months ago when I realized, you know, I want to revamp it. And that's actually how Nicole reached out to me. If I didn't revamp it, she wouldn't have reached out to me. And it's okay. As you go through university, you know, your first year, second year, throughout time, then you have experiences, and that's how you can add to your LinkedIn account. So don't be intimidated if you have nothing first. And another good point I want to add is with connections, it's not all about adding friends. Yes, friends are important, but I believe you should also add mutuals. Mutuals and people in your field. It's very important to add people in your field, because that's how you build connections. It's all about networking.
Yeah.
Networking. If you want to stand out, you have to network with people, and that's where you network online, so you can stand out. And excellent. They might give you a job later on or experience.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, and a good place to start would be following the St Albans Secondary College Alumni program group. So that's a way of, well, it's a start by following and by staying connected with your peers. So, Thomas, thank you so much for your time today. Your insights are just truly invaluable, and I'm sure that you will have inspired some students out there to get crafting on their profile. It is a fun thing to do, and hopefully not intimidating, because it is fun. So yeah, great. Hopefully we get to see you again on campus in the future.
Yeah, thank you very much.